This time we made a lunar house. So there are actually three parts to this build. First off is the house itself. Then there's also an airlock and the lunar surface.
So we'll start with describing the lunar surface. First step is the telescope. So it is recognizable. It's like a symbol of space exploration. So we figured we should have it on here. It is outside. So if any astronauts want to do some stargazing, they can just go outside their lunar home and look into this telescope. And then probably the main feature of the outdoor would be this blade cutting the rock. So you can see it's attached to a motor. And when it goes down, it will cut through this rock on the blue tabletop. So the thing to activate its movement is this button down here. It is the first time we have ever incorporated a button into one of our builds. So you can see the astronaut, when he wants to saw the rock, press through this button and it'll go down once. He can press down however much he wants. And then he can go down here, check on the rock, maybe put some new ones in, and then go back and resume his cutting. So that is about it for the outside.
So next up is the airlock. So the airlock is important on a lunar home because if you only had one door right here instead of an airlock, then all the oxygen would just come rushing out whenever the door is opened. That's why you need an airlock, which has two doors. So these two doors actually are alerted by a badge. So there are two badges, two different colors based on if you want to enter or leave the space home. And so the green badge would open this door and then close it and then wait, and then open this door and close it and then wait. And then red would do the opposite. So here's an example of it working. I just attached motors so that it opens the door for you and you don't have to worry about getting the timing right or anything. So that's how the airlock works. Now on to the building itself. So we used really thick bricks. So it's double the thickness of the airlock. What we would normally use is just a 1x, but we used 2x this time. On the first bit is black, and then above that is gray. We added a couple windows throughout, like right here. There are some windows so that the people working in the lab can see the people working on the drill, and then just a couple others in the living areas, generally throughout.
Now we'll go to a more detailed exploration of the interior. So you can see immediately after walking in, there is this really beautiful mosaic on the floor of a night sky with stars. We added this because it felt a little boring, just a large, blank, expansive gray. So we wanted to add some sort of feature to make it more interesting to view. And then we also have a couple of houseplants as accessories in there. If you keep going straight forward, you'll come to the living area. So there are 2 beds, a desk or table, and some food. And you may notice the walls separating this from the other portions of the lunar home are much thinner and shorter from the walls separating the lunar home from the lunar surface. This is because they don't need to be super thick, they just need to be more like dividers.
Now, this building is not just a place for them to live, it's also a place for them to conduct their experiments. So here's a garden right here, a bunch of different varieties of plants, and this is basically for them to test and see what plants do well in this kind of environment without gravity and with different light fixtures. And they can easily replicate their results on a graph. So there's a graph on the wall and also a supercomputer, and that's basically where they could communicate with people on Earth and also log more of their results. So that was our Lego lunar home. Basically the biggest thing would be using the button for the first time. That was probably our favorite part of doing this build. And we'll see you next time on Creator Kids Studios.